Okay, good morning again, everybody. Welcome. This is Mark Hollenstein and the Masters of Light and the Elders of the Universe. Those are my guides. Today is Saturday, June 7th, and I'm super excited that you are here. Welcome if it's your first time on the call. Welcome if it's your first time on the replay. These calls are 60 minutes. I try to break them up into 15-minute increments. We may have a slightly different format today, but the last 15 minutes I always like to take us all into some type of guided visualization or meditation that give us time to embody the energies and the message that's being transmitted to all of us. The call does not end until the last person hangs up, so I will take you through that meditation. I'll bring you into a place of stillness. I'll say hang up, so we all end the call, but I always like to encourage you, once you hang up your phone, to sit in your stillness at least another 2 or 3 minutes just to give yourself a moment to see if any of your own inner guidance wants to come forward and speak something to you specifically once you're no longer hearing my voice or feeling the impact of the circle that we're creating. So with that being said, I want to invite everybody to just, in whatever way makes sense to you right now, bring yourself even more present to the call. We've all got a bunch of stuff that our mind wants to focus on, and we've got all kinds of things that I'm sure are calling out to you for the rest of your day. But for right now, see if you can just focus your attention on my voice a little bit more specifically, and even more importantly, on your intention. Why did you show up today? Why are you here, or why are you listening to the replay? Something today called out to you, whatever that is. Maybe it's a sense of need. Maybe it's a sense of obligation. You're a good friend of mine and you just feel compelled to be here, even if you don't want to support me, which I say thank you. But you see, that it doesn't matter what it is as long as we're clear. Why are we here? Why are we here? That's really important today for you to grab a hold of as I start to share the message with you. I also want to remind you that these messages coming from the elders and coming from the Masters of Light are transmitted on a higher frequency than we usually function on. And you, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, your bandwidth to receive information transmitted on a higher frequency, or a different radio station is a great way, an analogy our brain can grab a hold of. Your ability to tune into higher frequencies and receive information from those higher frequencies has been growing exponentially since 2020, whether you're aware of it or not. And even if you are aware of it, I guarantee you, your bandwidth is even stronger than your conscious mind allows you to believe, even right now while you're hearing my voice. I want you just to feel that for a second and just allow that to be true. You are a highly developed soul, or you would never have found me and participated in these messages. Not because I'm someone awesome, but because I have a particular mission on this planet, and that is to activate within other souls that volunteered to be here a deep, deep remembering. That's been my calling since I was a little kid. And I filtered it through whatever paradigm I was familiar with or had access to until I landed where I am here today. And where I am here today is in 2012 through a dream that I had that took me out of my sleep and sent me to my computer at 4 a.m, landed me on a website that allowed me to discover the word ascension. And I stayed up 24 hours reading all the information on this particular website. And the entire time I was on that website, instigated by my mom, who had passed a year earlier, coming forward in my dream, everything I was reading on the website, I had this keen sense that I know this, I know this, I know this. Why do I know this? I've never heard this, but I know this. And that website was a website that had channeled messages from someone named Matthew, who was a human that lived on this planet with his mom and 3 other siblings, and he was killed in a car accident in the late 1970s. His mom wasn't very religious at all, but 14 years after his death, she had an experience that awakened her and allowed her to begin to channel these messages that were coming through her son, who he revealed he too was a very highly evolved soul, and he had a mission on the planet. And from those messages, I just continued to allow my heart and my mind to be open. And in 2017, that was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 5 years after that initial experience, 3 years after that experience, I just had this keen sense, wow, something wants to channel through me. And in 2017, I had no idea how to do it, how to allow it. I had read books. There was one in particular, Learning How to Channel. I read that book. I followed all little processes. And in 2017, I finally, just sitting at the same desk I'm sitting at right now in a different location, I just finally surrendered and said, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to surrender right now. You have my permission to make yourself known. And I felt this flood of love and this flood of light. And the first thing that I heard in my mind's eye from the Masters of Light was, there's only love for you here. And I felt for the first time, actually that's not accurate. I felt for the second time. I had an earlier experience in my teens. I felt pure unconditional love of Source flooding through my body. And when the elders showed up in 2023, the first thing they said to me was the same thing. There is only love for you here. And I'm sharing that with you today because the messages that I am speaking, or the information I'm sharing with you today, there is so much more information than what your ears are hearing in my words and what your brain is computing. And that has been the case for any message you've ever listened to from me, from the Masters of Light or the Elders of the Universe. And I want you to, before I share the message today, I want you to flip a switch in your mind right here, right now, and let yourself believe that you are capable of picking up this information beyond just your conscious mind. Just like I had to sit at my desk and say, I don't really understand this with my mind, but I sense it with my knowing, and I surrender. I'm inviting you to a deeper level of surrender to the energy of what we've been calling since March, your I am presence. Your I am presence is the essence of the energy of your soul as the entire infinite ocean of the one source creator. I'm going to say that again. Your I am presence is the essence held in your soul of the entire complete sovereign one source creator. We believe that we are separate from that. Maybe we're a spark. Maybe we're a fractal. Maybe we are a drop in the infinite ocean of the one source creator from the perspective of our limited human experience, because we seem so individual and we seem so separate from each other. And we've been trained to believe we are separate from God in whatever way that was presented to us. But in reality, the eternal beingness of who you are at the core is the entire infinite ocean of the one source creator. I want to invite you, regardless how well your mind can comprehend that or how confusing those words might sound, right here, right now, in this moment, I want to invite you to open your heart and your mind to allow that to be true more than you ever have. Allow it to be true in this moment that the entire essence of who you are is the complete infinite ocean of the one source creator. Just open your heart and open your mind, however that makes sense to you right now. And make a bigger space for that truth to be what absorbs what I'm transmitting and what I'm sharing with you. From that little twist or that slight invitation or on that subtle invitation from you to yourself, you open a doorway, you open a portal for you to receive at a level that you've yet been capable of receiving simply because you made the conscious choice to open your heart and your mind just a little more. Feels too easy to the brain, but our soul, the essence of your drop in the infinite ocean of the oneness that is you, knows how to work with that invitation, and you just offered it. Now, from that openness, I'm going to invite you for just a moment, again, before I share the message, I'm going to invite you, if it feels comfortable, to just close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to take 3 big breaths in. I want you to inhale as fully as possible and then force the breath out nice and strong. We call these cleansing breaths. Take another one in and bring more in than the first one and force it out even stronger than the first one. And do that a third and final time. More breath in and stronger out than the first 2. And now let your breathing recalibrate itself and find its own natural rhythm again after those 3 big cleansing breaths. And with your eyes closed and that breath activating your chest cavity and your heart chakra and your lungs, I want you to put your focus on your chest cavity for just a moment. Back in March, the elders gave us this visualization to imagine a ball of gold light. If you've been working with me for a while, we always work with the energy of the green ball, the size of a golf ball in our chest cavity to activate our heart chakra. This is different. This is a bigger ball. It's the size of, let's say, a softball. And it's the most beautiful gold light that your mind can muster in your imagination right now. And I want you to see that gold ball slowly rotating in your chest cavity like a mirrored disco ball in a dance club. It's just moving slowly. And with intention and your focus there, you can sense the movement in your chest if you just feel into it. That is the energy of your I am presence. That is the visualization that you can utilize to connect with the energy of the one infinite source creator that is you. You can imagine yourself as a drop in that infinite ocean of one source creator, but the reality is there is no separation from the drop and the ocean. So breathe into that ball, and as you exhale, I want you to imagine that that ball of energy explodes like a beam of light, like a spotlight, penetrating your chest cavity and filling the space that you're sitting in. Now the entire space that you are sitting in is full of this gold light. And there's your body sitting in the middle of your space, bathed in this gold light that's emanating from the center of your physical beingness. Feel that for a moment. I said back in March that the ocean now has the capacity and the desire to open the drop to allow you who have believed that you are separate into this embodied awareness that indeed you truly are the entire infinite ocean of the one source creator. I know that's hard for our brains to fathom. It's okay. Let it be hard for your brain to fathom. We're not trying to convince the brain. We're just giving the ocean permission to open the drop. How that begins to affect the brain, we don't know. We just need to continue to surrender. Yes, I am willing to let the infinite ocean of the one source creator open me from the inside out into this awareness that my drop is not separate from it. So again, I'm just going to invite you into that invitation. Before I continue, just invite the ocean of one source creator to open your drop. That's all you got to do. And with that openness, now, feel free to open your eyes and just continue to listen and stay present. So, at the beginning of 2025, I started to take the messages from the elders and put them in written form, and they've been long and in-depth. Part of me was like, oh, nobody's going to read this. And part of me is like, these messages, as I'm feeling them, flood my body, and I put them into words, and then I read them back. The power in these messages, as it's opening my drop, just continues to feel so powerfully beautiful. And it brings this sense of calm into my beingness. And back in January, we were told that the year 2025, we were told by the elders that this is going to be a year of transformation. And it's been a year of transmissions and activations. A year of transformation, transmissions, and activations. And we were also told that this would be the year of what the elders call revelation, and others in the spiritual ascension community call disclosure. The message that I sent out in written form a week ago today in your 1 week reminder, I'm not going to read it. I'm sending them out in advance so you can sit with them. But I am going to just read the first 4 paragraphs, and then I'm going to flush it out from there. I want you to feel into yourself. I want you to pay attention to how you feel as I'm sharing the message, way more than what you think. I'm going to say that again. I want you to tune in to how you are feeling as you hear these words, as opposed to thoughts that you think. Tap into the sensations in your body and the emotions that may be surfacing. Greetings, our cherished and beloved family of Earth. We are the elders of the universe merged with the masters of light for this very important message. Together, we greet you in this moment of intensified transformation and profound shifts on your world. A threshold of powerful collective realignment and purging of old energies. From our vantage point among the higher realms of creation, we witness the wave of light growing in momentum as it nears your sphere. This June brings a significant cosmic gateway, a solstice portal of amplified energy that will accelerate the unveiling and healing of all that no longer resonates with truth. Know that this process is guided by divine intelligence. It may feel and appear chaotic, but it is in fact an orchestrated alignment on a grand scale. The great cycle of separation is drawing to its long prophesied close, and all that's been hidden in the shadow is now being simultaneously brought into the light to be seen, acknowledged, and transmuted. Patterns and wounds carried through the lineage of ages, across lifetimes, ancestral memories, and even planetary histories are rising to the surface for resolution at last. We ask you to take heart, knowing that this massive unveiling is divine alchemy at work. As the illusions of division crumble, each of you is called to navigate these times as a living embodiment of love, for that is your torch in the darkness. You do not journey through this upheaval alone. Innumerable benevolent beings, ourselves included, are supporting you energetically as you rebirth yourselves and your civilization. We come forward now with illumination and guidance to help you walk as love incarnate amid the upheaval, for that's how you shall help the new dawn emerge from the night. That's all I'm going to read. If you haven't read the message in its entirety, I would encourage you to, but I wanted to grab that opening and then flush out some important additional information that has come through since I received that written message. But from that opening, the piece that I want to really flush out for you on this call is this June brings a significant cosmic gateway, a solstice portal of amplified energy that will accelerate the unveiling and healing of all that no longer resonates with truth. I'm picking that sentence because that unveiling has to do with what they have been talking about for many years, preparing us for 2025 of this disclosure, or what they call revelations. We've been being told since January that the second half of the year, particularly after June 20th and 21st, which is when this next surge of energy is going to hit planet Earth, and you're going to absorb it into your body and be prepared to navigate what we've been calling the challenges that will show up on our personal mud runner race track. That's the analogy I've been using since 2020 when they gave it to me. They'll start to show up in the second half of this year after this June energy. That's 13 days away, beautiful soul. However, today, this weekend, there is I'll just call it a ripple wave. You know, like when you're sitting on a beach and you can see out, I don't know, maybe a quarter of a mile, and you can see some of the bigger waves coming in, right? But right at the shore, there's just a couple little ripples. Well, this weekend, we are in a little ripple. It's a ripple of energy that's in preparation for the bigger wave that's coming in 13 days. I'm bringing that to your attention because energy moves. We get these little time frames to work with the energies in. In 2023, the Masters of Light said, we're going to start giving you awareness of what they were calling windows of energy. Do you remember me sharing that with you? And oftentimes I have brought that to your attention. I'm bringing it to your attention today. We're in a very specific window moving through this weekend. However, windows energetically, they don't really have a border. So you may have been feeling what I'm about to describe over the last couple of days, or you may feel it a few days on the other side of this weekend. But in this ripple, it's very much connected to the opening paragraph. Together we greet you in this moment of intensified transformation and profound shifts on your world, a threshold of powerful collective realignment and purging of old energies. Yesterday, I woke up in the most agitated, angry state than I can remember in a really long time. I just woke up that way, like pissed. I'm like, what is this? And as I sat in my meditation, my mind just got flooded with situations in my life, some recent, some in the distance, where I was just thinking about things that happened to me that really pissed me off. And when I looked at the thread of each of those that was coming forward, almost like I somehow opened up a box of photos, old photos, and I opened up the lid and I just started lifting them out. And like, oh my God, that and that and that. And part of me was like, why have I even found this box, and why am I looking at these pictures? I didn't even know the box was here. Why are they coming forward, right? But they were, and because I was very in tune with this message, I'm like, okay, purging of old energies, got it. Sit down, Mark, sit down. Something big is happening. And when I allowed myself to feel the intensity of all my anger and look at each one of those memories that was coming forward, I recognized a thread. There was someone in that picture that I could point my finger at to say I was angry at, but really I was angry at the choice that I made in relation to that circumstance. And I connected the dots and I'm like, okay, got it. I'm going deeper at my own anger, at poor choices that I've made, that I've intellectually thought I've dealt with, but there's residue and it's coming up to be purged. Because I pay attention to the messages and I reinforce these messages for you as well as myself every Magical Monday, I defaulted immediately. There's nothing to fix. There's just more to feel. Remember that mantra we've been using, right? From March till June, that's our mantra. There's nothing to fix. I don't need to fix that part of me that had a pattern of making choices the way I did that left me feeling angry. I just needed to let myself feel the intensity at the level that I was feeling it as it was moving up and out, because we're in this powerful collective realignment and purging of old energies. I want you to hear me with this, beautiful soul, because you may have been having these experiences or something similar, or you might be ready to have that surge happen in you. And I want you to connect the dots. There's nothing to fix. There's just more to feel. This wave that's coming in this weekend in preparation for the bigger wave that's coming in the solstice energy is it's an act of grace. And I keep telling myself that, and I want to drive that point home to you. These surges of energy that are creating these very powerful emotional responses in us is a gift. It's an act of grace. That's why we got the message. There's nothing to fix. There's just more to feel. So much is happening in this dismantle of our planet. It can feel so overwhelming. And then when we're looking at things on the externally, and we feel powerless over them when things like this show up and it's personal, we can forget the message that we've been given, and we can instantly default to judgment or disappointment or beating ourselves up. And that's not benefiting from the gift. But if you're not aware of the gift, you can execute it and benefit from it. That's the point of me taking the time to bring this up to you. There's nothing to fix. There's just more to feel. That doesn't mean feel it forever. It means feel it in the moment that it's showing up and it's dissipating and it's moving out of your field. Are you tracking with me? Was that you? Have you had that experience in the last week or two? Is this making sense to you? If you haven't had the experience, does it make sense to you what I'm encouraging you to do should you find yourself this weekend or next week in the similar spot that I'm describing? I hope so. Because the more we can master allowing ourselves to be in this intensified transformation and profound shifts that are providing these powerful collective realignment and purging of old energies, the more space we're going to create to be able to absorb the next surge of quantum energy coming on June 20th. Let's talk about that. I've been telling you that your bandwidth since March, any little bit of focus that you have put, or any extreme amount of focus, it doesn't matter, a little or a lot, anytime you've given yourself permission to sit in your stillness or be quiet or be contemplative, however you want to think about it, and just thought about your I am presence, that little bit of focus from March through May was compounded. And you were building a vibrational match to your I am presence, to the infinite ocean of the one source creator, opening your drop to a stronger bandwidth to receive and absorb these energies that are coming in June. Do you believe that? I'm challenging you with a question. Because if you don't, what do we need to do to get you there to believe it? Okay? Because we got 13 days. Are the ocean, the infinite ocean of the one source creator, is opening our drop. It's eliminating energetically the illusion of separation of you to it. Forget about the world. The infinite ocean has to work one soul at a time. It has to open all these drops that had been trained and programmed into a belief that they are separate, one drop at a time. But you know what that means? That one drop at a time is you in the ocean. Because if you are the infinite ocean, it's only you. It's only you and your mind in the human form that is you that the ocean is trying to get the attention of. Forget about everything else that's happening on the world and make your priority between now and June 20th to keep opening your heart and your mind to allowing the infinite ocean of the one source creator to open your drop. What does that mean? It means you just keep saying, I don't know how to do this, but ocean, you do. And if you're telling us in your messages that it's time for the ocean to open the drop, do your thing. That's how I've been interacting with it since March. I've been saying every morning, ocean, I'm a drop who believes it's separate. Part of me has been working really hard since my awakening to emerge out of that separateness, but you're telling us right now that you want to open us, I'm all in. That's how I talk to it. I'm all in. I don't know how to do it. You do. Show me what you'll show me. And I just sit still and I breathe into my gold ball in my chest cavity and I imagine it getting bigger and I imagine it filling my space just like we did at the beginning of this call, and I just sit in it. And I say, once I've imagined it, I say, okay, ocean, I'm going to go about my day. I'm busy. You're my priority. I don't know how to let you open me during my day, but you do. So show me what you'll show me. You do what you do. I'll do what I do. What I do right now is say, I don't know how to do it. You do it. I give you permission. And then I go about my day with my Indiana Jones hat on, which is my metaphor for staying in curiosity, because curiosity is a higher vibration than confusion and fear, and I can always tune myself to that radio station. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to be curious to how the ocean is going to help me have a sense of being embodied by it. I'm going to pay attention and see how the ocean is changing my interaction with other people, if at all. I'm going to stay in curiosity and wonder what changes in me when I give the infinite ocean of the one source creator permission to do what it's telling me. I came here to do at this particular time on the planet, which was allow it to open me. That's a fun game to play. It's a fun game to play. And I want to invite you to play it even more intentionally over the next 13 days. From that space, what is happening to you, whether your mind believes it right now or not, whether your mind can show you any evidence of it right now or not, but I guarantee you it can, but its default will be, yeah, that's not me, but that's not true. Whether there's evidence of this or not, you are being opened to your multi-dimensional beingness. Do you remember since 2020, many, many, many times I have said this, and you're going to hear it in a different way right now? Some of you are going to go, no, I don't remember that. And some of you are going to go, yeah, I do remember that and didn't know what the hell you're talking about. And some of you are going to go, yeah, I do remember that. Oh, it is kind of making sense now. And some of you are going to have a completely different experience, and none of them are right or wrong, good or bad. They just are what they are. But do you remember me saying, in your chest cavity, in your upgraded heart chakra, which is now your new command center, that's where the intelligence of your eternal soul is broadcasting impulses of thought up into your conscious mind that you couldn't receive before. And in that little emerald green ball, the size of a golf ball in your chest cavity, you contain all of your individual, as a drop in the infinite ocean of the one consciousness, you have in your heart chakra all of the accumulated eternal wisdom and knowledge accessible to you in a way that will now make a difference to the life you are living right now. You remember me saying that? Doesn't matter if you don't. But if you do, this wave that's coming in this weekend is going to start to activate that. I will use an example of myself that I've been using since 2021, and I try and downplay it because I don't want you all to think that you have to have something this obvious, but this is one way that it's come forward in me, and that is my art. A little thought came into my mind. I wonder if I could paint energy the way I see it. I answered the question by buying some paints and a canvas. I started painting, and lo and behold, the answer to that question was yes, I can. It showed up from the infinite ocean of my accumulated wisdom and knowledge. I had dormant in me the ability to create with paint. Not from this lifetime, from another one, but it showed up in a way that's making a difference in this lifetime. You have that same accumulated wisdom and knowledge. It doesn't have to come out in a creative way like that. It can come out in any way it wants to. This weekend, beautiful soul, this little ripple that's coming in is activating that dormant energy at a whole new level. So if I were in your shoes listening to this message on the other side of this line, I would make sure I put my Indiana Jones hat on right now and jump right into curiosity and just ask the question, I wonder how that will show up in me. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to set my intention to let that be true in me. I'm going to pay attention to subtle questions that pop into my head, like I wonder if I could paint. I'm going to get really intentional in paying attention to whatever is popping into my awareness, understanding my bandwidth is getting stronger in this powerful collective realignment and purging of old energies, so these powerful dormant energies can come forward. Are you with me? I got 20 minutes left. the last 15 minutes I want to spend on an activation, but I want to connect some dots for you, okay? We are being prepared. You have been being prepared for as long as you've been working with me, but longer than that, because you've been being prepared before you found me to be a support at wherever you were in your journey at the time that you found me. But we were told in January, this year is going to be a year of revelation. The surge of energy that is coming online in June has been building your bandwidth to receive the revelation and respond in a much less fearful way to the revelations. Okay? I'm just going to connect a couple of dots for you, so when the revelations start to show up, and they're showing up now in this little ripple that's coming in before the big surge, and I'm going to connect some dots with you farther back for a couple of years so you can understand what's changed in you as it relates to what I'm going to point out of what has happened on the world stage. So this week on the world stage, two of the biggest players, Trump and Musk, have escalated into this media frenzy-fueled feud, right? And you've had your thoughts and your emotions about it. They're not right, wrong, good, or bad. But I want to connect a dot of what's happening here from the higher perspective. As the elders introduced this letter, they were saying, from our vantage point among the higher realms of creation, we witness the wave of light growing in momentum as it nears your sphere. This June brings a significant cosmic gateway, a solstice portal of amplified energy that will accelerate the unveiling and healing of all that no longer resonates with truth. The biggest piece that this feud has escalated into was yesterday or the day before, when Musk brought Jeffrey Epstein's connection to Trump back into the picture, right? It doesn't matter what you think or what I think, okay? I'm just connecting dots, not to give you an opinion, but for you to watch the way the energies have been moving. So that happened yesterday, right? In the month of June. In the month of June, this weird little thing that's been happening between them, and the effect that their relationship has had on the United States, on our government, and the world at large, has seemingly escalated to this weird little bomb drop that's stimulating all this conversation, but there's a bigger picture here. But I just wanted to make you aware, it's happening in June, which we've been being told. We were told the year 2025 is going to be the year of revelation or disclosure. In September, P. Diddy went on trial, and all of these celebrities have been called into court. I don't know how much you've been paying attention. I'm not encouraging you to pay attention. I'm just going to summarize. I always get the pulse only to see how it applies to the messages. That's all. I don't allow myself to draw an opinion because nothing is as it appears. I just pay attention to what's being played on the world stage as it relates to our messages. So in September, and it's still going on, P. Diddy was, in September 2024, P. Diddy was arrested and all of this information about sex trafficking and a whole bunch of other stuff started to come to light. And now he's in trial, and there's a whole bunch of celebrities who are all coming forward. And if you are paying attention, they're all pointing to the mesmerization of this manipulation of this very powerful person who kept other very powerful people hypnotized and in fear, which is a reflection. It's simply a reflection of the intensity of the manipulation that all of us have been under. That's all this is. And our response right now, if you do have a response and people are having a response, there's a lot of judgment, right? There's a lot of judgment. Those scummy celebrities I knew, right? So there's first this judgment, and then there's like, wow, how could somebody get away with that? And then there's, I wonder how much darker this could get, right? And whatever else you might be feeling. So then let's back up even further. And we've got, in 2020, after Jeffrey Epstein died in prison, supposedly by suicide in 2019, all the attention went to Ghislaine Maxwell. She was arrested, put in jail, and there was another death that happened with her. She flew kind of under the radar. But that happened in 2020 because in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein, whose name got brought in with Trump today in the month or in this month of June, he died in prison, right? For all the things that were starting to come out in light with him. And if you track that back, in 2018, Harvey Weinstein was jailed, and all of that sexual stuff in that industry came forward, and from there the whole Me Too movement got escalated. Why am I pointing all of this out? Because since 2018, there's been a very calculated movement of this divine plan of preparing the masses to be able to receive the level of revelation and shock that we're being prepared for. And with the surge of energy coming in June, your bandwidth and the preparation that the entire planet has been prepared since 2018 in the Harvey Weinstein thing, our cognitive dissonance is no longer at a level where we will not believe what we are shown. And what we are going to be shown is going to be so horrific and mind-boggling, but your bandwidth will be able to receive it, and you will be able to process it, and you will be able to be a beacon of light, and it will propel you forward in your ascension journey. Feel that for a moment. None of this is random. This is all a divine plan, and nothing is as it appears, and all the players that are being moved around on the world stage are just the pawns. Nothing is as it appears. And the ascension of the human species that your soul came to be a part of is getting ready to take a leap, a quantum leap. Before I take us into the meditation to embody the energy, here's the final part of this message from the elders. And I want you to be on the lookout for it. Remember last month I was talking about this pressure cooker that we were in and this polarization? Well, this pressure cooker is going to get more intense externally. April's message was the insanity, the intensity of what's being played out on the world stage is going to escalate to a fever pitch insanity that's going to clamor for your attention. But your bandwidth is getting stronger and stronger not to feed that insanity with your fear. You're being empowered to respond differently, to every obstacle that's going to begin to show up on the Mud Runner race. And your soul has been training for it for lifetimes. That doesn't matter what your life looks like now. The fact that you're listening to this call, it's only true. It's true for anybody who finds me. You have been preparing for lifetimes, for this particular lifetime, because your capacity to hold the light and anchor it, regardless of how capable you feel in this lifetime, even as you're hearing these words, is off the charts capable. And what you're going to start noticing as these revelations seem to get more complicated, chaotic, and confusing, you're going to notice, particularly starting this weekend, even though you might ride a roller coaster of emotion, you might find, like I did yesterday, holy shit, this anger is intense. Like so intense. But because I understand where we are, because I'm paying attention to the messages, once I let it dissipate and move out, and then I moved into my stillness, and I connected with my I am presence, this sense, there's a buoyancy coming in now. This I am presence that we've been focusing on, this allowing the infinite ocean to open our drop, we are moving into a powerful, I'll call it a sense of buoyancy. It could show up as joy in the midst of circumstances that I shouldn't be feeling joy in. It can show up in surges of undeniable peace, calm, and bliss when I am surrounded with circumstances where that is so contrary to what I'm experiencing. So we're going to continue to contract and expand. We're going to feel intense emotion in a contraction, and we're going to go, okay, let me feel it, let it move out, and then there's going to be space for you to expand bigger than where you were capable of before that contraction. That's what's happening to me today. Yesterday, I was like, how the hell am I going to deliver a message when I feel like this? I don't feel like that. Now, hopefully you can tell. Today in my meditation, once I went through that surge, I feel expanded. I feel empowered. I feel peaceful. I feel like I have even more love to give. I don't know what your experience is going to be, but I want you to get this message today. You are so powerful, and you are so loved, and you have built momentum for your I am presence, for the infinite ocean to continue to open your embodiment of that I am presence. And all you have to do is continue to give it permission. Whether for you giving it permission just means getting out of bed, putting your feet on the floor and saying what I shared with you that I say in the morning, that's enough. That's enough. Or going on a walk and listening to calming music and just taking a walk in nature for 10 minutes and saying, show me what you'll show me, that's enough. You do not have to overcomplicate it. You need to just continue to give it space intentionally. If you want to sit in a meditation for 3 hours, I'm not going to stop you. Sometimes in my meditation, they'll last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Once I did a 3-hour meditation, periodically I'll go on full weekend silent retreats, but nothing is required except intention and awareness. And that's what I want to fire up in you today. It's a beautiful energy this weekend. So with this information, you can simply say, I'm all in. Show me what you'll show me, Infinite Ocean. It's your time to do your part, and I'm all in. With that being said, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to take your right hand and place it on your chest cavity over your heart. Take your left hand, place it over your right. Now you've got your 2 jumper cables. The right hand is the divine masculine jumper cable. The left hand is the divine feminine. Positive charge, negative charge, coming in and going out. You're just giving your own heart chakra a charge of the battery. Now with your eyes closed, I want you to imagine under your hands, in your chest cavity, a gold ball of light the size of a softball. And immediately breathe into that. And as you exhale, watch it rotate. Now on demand, as if you're offering your hands an extension of the invitation, pull your hands away from your chest and say, show me what you'll show me, and pull that light out, open your hands and let it fill your room. Let that gold light fill your room and let your hands rest on your thighs and let your body bask in that bubble of gold light. And in that space, I just want you to say to the infinite ocean, you are my I am presence. Open my drop. Continue to give me an embodied experience that assures me I'm not separate from you in a way that this life that I'm living can understand it. The person I am today, create an embodied experience that I can understand that and feel it and know it and see it and sense it and believe it and expand it. And however else that invitation makes sense to you. Now I just want you to feel into the energy in your chest cavity and feel into your room where your body is floating in that gold light. If you really tap in, all that energy is absent of fear. There is no fear there. There's fear in your mind, so don't confuse the two. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you if your brain tries to convince you, I feel fear. Yes, of course you do, because you're not that energy. It's okay. Right now I'm focused on my I am presence. That's where there's an absence of fear. I got you, mind. We're good. Be fearful if you want to. I'm going to focus there right now. Keep focusing in that chest cavity energy, that gold ball. Breathe into that. That energy only knows itself as the one infinite source creator. That's all it knows itself as. And it's willing to let you tap into that in human form, kind of like a drip system, if you will, or an IV, where it just drips that awareness into your fearful human experience. And this weekend, that drip those drops of the drip are bigger. I'll say it that way. So let it drip. And if you breathe into that chest cavity, it's absent of fear. It only knows itself as the one infinite creator, and therefore it is absent of any human limitation. That's the component I've been focusing on this week. I want to be absent of human limitation while I'm in a human body. I don't know what that means, Ocean, but can you show me? Show me what you'll show me. Can we embody that? I want to rock that. And then I offer that invitation and I release it. I have no attachment to the outcome. My job is just to be open, to invite, to say yes to the infinite ocean, to open my drop. And that's where I'm going to leave you today. And I'm going to encourage us all to hang up together, and then I'm going to encourage you sit still for 2 minutes and expand that invitation and see what happens. Enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you on our Magical Monday. Everybody hang up and enjoy a few more minutes of stillness. Bye for now.